Hey guys, it's Tarek with Cyclone FPV. Thanks for those of you who caught my wife on there screwing around. It was classic and fun. I love that woman to death and her personality and the way she just kind of joked around. You guys are good sports about it too. She had no idea. It was really fun. So anyways, she's gonna pop in here in a minute to bring me some stuff, and I told her it was good, all in good fun, and she did a good job. Has no idea what she's talking about, but the fact that she even came out here was great. All right, so guys, first of all, thanks for tuning in. We are going to build the Banshee-U130 tonight for Colin, and I'm gonna get this split screen set up here, or this picture-in-picture that is. So let me get that going first and get this show on the road. All right, so you can see down here, this is my area we're going to be working with. So we're going to do the 130, and I'm going to try to watch the screen, so if there's questions I can answer, but if I miss them, I know there's a couple guys that are helping me out. Our pilots are watching, and want to welcome them. Those of them that are able to tune in, plus the rest of y'all. Okay, so we're going to be doing the 130 today, and we're going to be doing the Zeus board. I know there was a gentleman that mentioned something about a 2-minute build and then not doing the programming side. I do have a laptop set up here, so if I do have time in this build, I will plug it into Betaflight and show you guys how to configure it. The problem is these builds end up taking quite a long time. Aaron, I hope you kick some butt with it. I'm excited to see that happen, man. I'm really proud of you, bud, by the way. Real quickly, before I continue, I do want to give a shout out to my boys, Ashton, Landon, and Jaden. Love y'all, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for a football game. All right, guys, let's get to it. All right, let's start knocking this out. Let me zoom in here, and we can get going. We've got a couple new angles here to work with, so let's get going with what we got. All right, so we're going to start with our base frame, and we've got a couple of our parts here to get going with it. This is our Zeus. We're going to prep that up and get it going. I've got the soldering on. We're going to get the motors real quick. So those are going to be our. Let me grab those real quickly. All right, let's get those ready. And let's see what else we got. Bear with me one sec. I just want to make sure that I've got everything that we need for this ready to go. So those are the 11 to 6. All right. So we can get started by going ahead and getting our Zeus prepped up, and then we're going to use a TX 2.0 on this one. The dance. Yes, I will get to the dance. Got it. This is. It's coming. Okay, relax. Let's focus for a second. Okay. All right. So let me get the motors out, and we'll do this dance in a little bit. Okay. So we're going to be using the HGLRC 1106 6000 kV motors, and so we'll get these prepped up and ready to go. Let me just kind of get all this stuff out of the way. And oh yeah, you know what? One thing I did want to show you guys. I know there's been some posting of it online. This is the new. Here, I'll switch screens here so I can show you guys. So this is one of the new freestyle. It's a dedicated freestyle frame. The initial design came with help from our pilot Aaron. Shut up, David. I'm trying to do my job here real quick. All right, so this is the slammed version, I guess, the low profile version, and I put some pictures online with it. I did put the Gopro Mount on this earlier, so it's very hard to kind of tell how thin it is, but this is a 4mm. The arms are 4mm, the main body is 4mm, but the actual gap inside is only 10mm total. This is also running the new Rush Tank VTX, and we'll be doing a video on that. This is the front profile of it, and that is the custom GoPro mount that goes on there. It's got plenty of room. It's an XL frame, so it's got 2 mounting brackets. The one that Aaron and I worked on together is a much taller version, more for like if you want to do full double stacks, but I kind of put this one together to see how thin we could go. I'm going to change the camera mounting on this, and then it'll be ready to go, but this is super slammed. And again, the extended design is something that Aaron came up with, asked me to try to put something together on it, and we're going to present that frame also probably tomorrow. and also do a video on the Rush VTX, okay? All right, so now getting back to where we were at, let's get to this. Let me get the motors out and get going. I don't have music, man. I mean, what do you want me to do? I don't, babe. Oh, good, she's not here. I don't have any music, and if I put music, this stupid thing's gonna get me for copyright. So that's about all I got for music. But it's coming. Hey, Mama. I don't know where she is. I think she's making a coffee right now. I'll get her in here. She can help me. Yeesh. All right. For the time being, let's get back to the quads. What's up, Ricky? All right, guys. So we're gonna get these motors out and get everything situated. Okay, and I've been putting some more videos online, trying to put some, like, maybe quick ones, you know, something that's 10, 15 minutes on help videos. I did just do a repair on a QX7, and I thought I recorded it. It was a very good repair. It was something that people may need to see, so I'll end up doing something again on it, but it was for those people that when they try to power up theirs, it won't turn on. One of the things that I will show you real quickly, though, that I thought was important was what I think happened to this QX7 because it shorted it out. Hey, Mama, I have to do the floss dance, by the way. So, but I don't have any music, and if I try to play music, no, I'll finish that coffee.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't have any music, but this Facebook thing will get me for copyright something. So, what do we have?
I don't think there's like a floss song.
I know, but I have to do 30 seconds of it, and they're sitting here, and it's being held over my head.
Do you want me to sing?
Oh God, no. So what do I do?
Just do it without any music.
Okay, so I don't know how.
I think it's like this.
Okay, no, come here. We'll do it together. You can help me. Ready?
I don't know how.
No, get over here. All right, so Sam and I are gonna floss. How do you floss?
I think it's like.
We're gonna hit each other. I gotta close the doors too.
I think your hips go this way, so put your hips that way, and then.
Are we flossing or are we?
Yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, and then. Oh crap. Oh shit, I don't know. It's something like that.
Hey.
Okay, no. Hey. No, you're doing it wrong. This way. No, this way. No, in. Now, this way. No. Something like that.
Okay. Good job, honey. Love you. We'll try it again another time. All right. I ain't saying, y'all shut up. This is terrible. All right, we'll try it later. I still got to... Sam, you got to go study it and let me know what we're supposed to do.
Okay.
God, because this is the kids are going to see it. We can't embarrass ourselves too bad. All right, move on now. Okay, so look, getting back to what I was talking about. So, y'all suck. Okay, look. So in the QX7, one thing I do want to show you guys, and I want to get to this real quickly. Okay, so on the QX7, on the back, right? So we sell these batteries, and other places sell them too. I'm trying. I'll figure it out later. You know, you can put in these aftermarket batteries, and I like these. Yes, I know. So, but the problem is when you plug these in, if you leave this exposed, and I think this is what happened to the radio that I was working on, I think it shorted out the board. So I ended up having to resolder the board, and that's what I did in the video. But what I did to kind of solve it, and this is just a little hint for you guys, is take some heat shrink, right? And get one that fits. And I mean, this is kind of simple, but I just want to show you anyway, so anybody has the same thing. So like put it on there and heat it up, right? And what's going to end up happening is the top of it's going to turn into somewhat of a handle, I guess you could call it. And so if you do it like this, and you protect this so that it doesn't, the metal doesn't make contact, okay, that's it. That's all you're going to do, right? And then once it cools down, okay, you can just kind of pinch that in right there. And then there you go. So you've got yourself a cover that will cover your plugs to stop it from shorting on the board. I'm pretty sure that's what happened on this board, and it ended up causing a short that fried the power wire or on the board. So I reran a new wire, and I'll put a video on how to do that. I did record it. For some reason, it just didn't record. But then that way you've got yourself a little cover cap there to keep it secure. So that's a real simple fix for that. All right, I won't waste any more time, and let's get to it. Let me put my stuff away. Be quiet, please. It's time to do some builds. All right, so getting to this, we've got our motors, and we've got our Zeus board, and we're going to use a TX 2.0 on here from HGLRC. So let's get to it. And the reason we're doing this video, one, is because this is a DIY kit. So you can purchase the kit and build it yourself. Just watch the video and it'll help you out tremendously on getting it done. So let's get the, and I haven't built this one in a while because I made some modifications to it. So we are all going to kind of do it for the first time. So there may be some mistakes. A rubber band. Oh yeah, to secure. You're right. But mainly my thing was to cover the metal. But yeah, there's a couple different options on there. Okay, so I'll be making some notes as we do this because I've got to figure out what size screws we're going to be using. But we'll kind of go through this together. Okay, I know, I know. I'm gonna speed through these builds now. Such. I'm gonna go through it quicker. I just got to see where we're at with this first. All right, so let me get to it, and I'll make notes as far as the lengths of the screws that we're using and so forth. All right. So let me get these out here, and we'll measure this real quickly. All right, so what we're going to do on this one is we're going to make sure to clear, but 5 millimeters is going to be a little too high, so I think we're going to drop it to about 3 millimeters. All right, and see if we can make this fit a little bit better. So we will put the fastener first. I know. Hush, man. I'm trying. It's been an interesting day today, so I'm just now kind of dragging it in here. Yeah, he's pretty cool, right? I'm glad to have him on. We've actually got a pretty good team here going, and I just haven't updated the site because I've just been distracted by a million things. But we've got, David and John and Bryce and Aaron. It's like romper room. I see them all. All right, so we'll be good to go with this. And hopefully we should be able to keep it at a pretty good space here. So let me just check that out. I would turn the board upside down normally, but you know what? In this case, I think I will just leave it at the 5 mil. We're definitely going to have room for it, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. What's up, Jeff? Hello, Mustafa. How are you, sir? All right, so let's take, let's go with a 16 mil, and we'll get started. I think we're pretty much set here, and we'll get the receiver underneath, so we should be good to go. All right, so 16 mil screws, 5 mil standoff to start, save us some room, so we'll knock that out real quick. And like I said, I mean, while I'm doing this, because this part is pretty basic, I'm sure if you have any questions about anything that we're doing or anything coming out, I did post that thing about the quads that I have that were going to go for sale. The reason I held off right now was because it was very confusing to some people. I said, and I stressed it, that this is not something that I would recommend a new person new in the industry to buy. These are test ones. You kind of need to know what you're doing. You need to know how to troubleshoot them. But tomorrow I have 6 of them ready to go. I'm going to go fly them tomorrow to make sure that everything's good. I hovered them and they were fine, but I want to take them out and fly them, and I need some flying time anyway. So tomorrow we will do that, and then they will be posted for sale. A lot of you asked me if I could just contact you directly, and I thought about it, and I'm like, it's kind of unfair for me too. So just watch the page. If you're on our text messaging updates, then you'll know immediately when they're about to be posted. All right. All right, so we got one more screw to go, and it looks like this one's labeled wrong, but no problem. We'll knock it out real quick. Okay. And we're going to start prepping the board up and getting everything ready. Receiver-wise, I believe, I'm going to go grab that real quick. Bryce, I saw that you sent me an attachment. I don't know what it is, but I can only imagine that it's my dance video. You're always appreciated. Thank you. We also have the new Speedy B boards coming in. We just made a deal with them. I want to thank Rush FPV again for bringing us on as a dealer. We asked them and they said yes. So we've got their product in. We've got a lot of new stuff coming in, guys. So, and the builds and the new carbon fibers coming in, and I mean, it's going to be, we got a lot of good things happening. So just stay tuned. I took it as there were some old prototype. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's old prototype stuff, but I mean, they're not old. I mean, it's not that it's old. It's just that I have to keep building them, right, to test them, and then they just stay here. So what you saw, like that joke video, the video Sam was doing, those are two of the ones that are going to be going. They're excellent. I mean, there's nothing in terms of what they are. They were tested with different boards and different motors. Problem is I just don't take them apart afterwards. So rather than break them down and not get any value out of them, let somebody enjoy them. So I'll turn around and try to hook you guys up so you can enjoy them at least, okay? That was the idea. That is the idea, and that's what we're going to be doing. Okay, so this should, if all goes well, this should be no problem. So let me go ahead and put this in here now. So we're going to go ahead and prop this inside the frame and make sure that everything's going to fit properly, and it looks like it is, so we should have no problems there. And if you guys are familiar with the Zeus, it's a great board. Very sensitive though. Make sure that you can't be screwing around with this board. It's very sensitive to the solder and to everything else. So I see people, I do the RMAs on these, and there are some issues that I see, and it's usually related to soldering. Let me just make sure we've cleared everything there, and we have. All right. Okay. So this is how we'll lay this part out, and then we've got to get the TX 2.0. So let me grab that real quick. So this will be the VTX that we fit on here, and we're going to definitely have enough room for this, and that'll be perfect. So let me just go ahead and get that going. All right, so let's get the board prepped up, ready to go. We can take it off the stand for right now. Got the TX ready. We'll put all this stuff away, and then we'll get everything going. So the first thing is going to be that we are going to get our flux pen, which is floating around this table somewhere. All right. Yeah, the camel power. How do you like that? Very creative. I was very on the fly with her on that one. I was very impressed. So we're going to go ahead and do the flux pen, get everything kind of prepped up. Make sure that you've got this. Y'all have seen me use this before. Let me just check something out here real quick. All right. All right, I'm going to go grab the receiver. Give me 1 second. Okay, so we're going to use the micro right here. And this should clear without any issues. Yeah, and it'll sit right under the board. So we should be okay with that too. Just want to make sure that you can bind it, so you should be able to get to it. So that won't be a problem. All right. So now that we're prepped with this one, we can start by getting our motor set. Okay, and we are going to be running an XT30. So we'll get this. This should fit with no problem. That looks good right there, but we may put it somewhere else. All right. Let's go ahead and get this into the system. My frame. Hey, the Lego man, no. Those are off limits. Off limits. That's what I got from my boys. Now, to hold the frame in place until I put the standoffs on, I'm just going to put some temporary screws in here so that we can continue working. I'll just put a couple. Yep. Yeah, very liberal with the pen. I don't have, not worried about it. Works out well that way. I haven't had any issues with it, so, put it on there and not worry about it. Don't have, never had a problem with that part of it. All right, so here we go. And let's get our motors. Make sure we've got everything lined up properly. So we'll go ahead and add a couple of those on there. And if you guys have any, if there's any boards or anything that we have that you guys have questions on, feel free to let me know. Like I said, the videos are being done every morning, usually, and they're about 10 to 15 minutes long, but they cover the exact topic of what it is you may have a question on, so that way we don't get off into a 2-hour thing. All right, so on my notepad, I believe I already had notes on this build, but I want to make sure. Let's see. All right, we'll start a new notes on this one to keep track of the new motor length. Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it all right here. All right, so we'll review these notes, make sure that you guys guys that have ordered this to do the DIY. We are going to make sure that everything is set for y'all so that the notes are up to date. And we did get that the Revelation, the 85, the Mini Beast, did ship out. Want to thank Jason. He was the first recipient of the new frame, and it's super tiny and super quick. There are some issues on it that I'm going to change. There are some things on the frame I may change just to make sure that it remains a strong frame, but overall I'm very impressed with it as well. So hopefully you guys will like that. Okay, let's keep going here. And if you guys are interested in seeing this on Betaflight to see how we have set it up, I will probably go ahead and do that too. But I want to knock this out as quick as possible so you guys don't fall asleep. Okay, so let's put the pen away for a little bit, make sure the notes are right. So we have 5 20-minute stand-up, 7-minute screws. Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Okay, so we will measure out our motor wires to be roughly and they'll be symmetrical. So we're going to say 50 millimeters to start. So let me just put motor wires equal 50 millimeters. And that may be a little long, but it's not too bad. Okay. And I believe I have a 50 here somewhere. So let me see. What is this one? It's a 60. 65. I thought I had a 50, but if not, that's fine. We'll make one. No problem. All right, so we'll use the yellow for 50 millimeters. So let's just measure it and cut it. This way our cuts are consistent. Okay. 50. All right, let's go ahead and knock these out. And we'll do the first one and make sure that's right. And like I said, by doing it like this, I know all my wires are going to be the same length, right? So you guys may have your own method. This is mine. Let's just make sure that this is going to be, yeah, that'll be good. All right, so 50 it is. So we'll go ahead and get the other ones done real quick. All right. So little tricks, right? Like, and you guys, everybody's got their own tricks. Mine aren't necessarily the best for everybody. Maybe there's something else. If you guys feel like sharing it, you know, you'll meet guys that are really, I mean, really super cocky about this and don't, you know, I don't know, they don't want to share it. But then there's a really awesome group of guys that will give you all the information you can get. So guys, if I do something and you think there's a better way or you like another method, go ahead. It doesn't offend me at all. The more the merrier. Hopefully we can help a bunch of people. I do it this way to make sure everything's, my notes and everything and all these things will be exactly measured the same. you guys may have a different route. I know for soldering, we all have different methods. I like mine, obviously, but if you have something, if you see me do it, as a matter of fact, I changed my soldering method because somebody told me about trying a different way, and I like it better than the way I was doing it. So always, even no matter how good you are, you can still share with me. I like to learn new things anyway. All right, so let's go ahead and strip these and get this show on the road. Hey, Colin, listen. I'm doing the best I can. I'm going to use hot pink now just because you said something. All right, so I'm going to strip these, and like I've said before, we want to go to about 1 to 2 millimeters. I mean, you can go a little bit more, but depending on where you cut the wire, I'll probably go maybe around 2 millimeters. And the purpose is I want to be able to grip the strands and spin them once they've been put into the flux paste. And then I'm going to tin them up, and then I can cut off if it's too long, okay? But you, especially on these smaller builds, 1.5 millimeters may be a nice point, right? So just kind of, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here for those of you that haven't seen it, but for the rest of you, I'm just repetitive. Yeah, I know, right? I got you, David. Look at Colin. He's like, I'd like it like this with this. And no, it is a big deal, Colin. I mean, seriously, I'm going to screw with you now. You're going to get the ugliest fast drone possible. So, too bad for you, sir. No, I'm just kidding. I'll hook you up. But when I get to that point, just remind me, because right now, I'm not going to remember what you just said. So just remind me again in just a minute. All right. So I'm going to get the flux paste, as you can see here, and I'm going to press these back down, but you can see all the holes that were in here. This is where I dip the wires in. This is the method that I did not use. Somebody gave me some advice on it. I really like it better. So I'm going to just keep in mind that it is a little messy. But just go ahead and dip your wires in there, and don't worry about the strands bending out. That's kind of the idea here, is you want them to kind of spread and get that flux paste in there. And then you're going to twist it up, and then you're going to solder it. All right, so don't worry about messing it up too much. It's kind of, and it is kind of nasty, so your hands are going to get a little nasty and oily looking. But all right, so once you dip it in there, just twist the strands up, because you do not want the strands to come loose or to break apart from the wire. And then we will tin this up, and I'll show you all that real quick. Then we're going to knock this out. Now, what color did he say? What color did he say now? Hey, yeah, we danced. What was the color of the heat shrink again, Colin? All joking aside here, I kind of forgot what you said. Did you want purple? There's break dancing. There's no break dancing. Let me put this away. All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're streaming live to both YouTube and Facebook right now, so I'm sure you're going to catch it on all kinds of channels. All right, I'm going to switch camera angles real quick so I can solder. So let's do that. And clean up my messy table here real quick. I'll clean all this up in a second. All right, so we're going to tin these real quick, right? And so for those of you that know how to tin and what I'm talking about, sorry for the boring part of this. But I am trying to do the DIY, so I need to show this part out. So just lean the wire up on something. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of lean it and just make sure the wires are somewhat separated so you can at least get to them individually. Okay, and I've got my soldering at 360 degrees Celsius. I've got my Kester solder 6337, and I'm just going to touch these very quickly and get them tinned up, right? So there's that, and that. That motor's done. And we'll go to the next motor, and we're going to do it again. Okay, that's motor 2. We only got 2 more to go. We'll be done pretty quickly here. Again, if you see strands coming off the wire, please make sure to put them back, twist them up or whatever, because you will be soldering these wires again, and those strands have a better chance of coming apart, and you don't want them to do that because you could end up shorting out or touching the other pads. You don't want that to happen. All right, so we'll keep zooming along here. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so motors are done, right? They're tinned up. And now I'm going to tin the board real quick. And again, to do that, we're just going to kind of go very quickly. You don't want to overheat the board. So let's go ahead and start tinning it. Now we're going to be using S-Bus, but for the sake of just tinning this board properly, I'm going to tin every single pad. And hopefully we can go through it pretty quickly, right? So here we go. So we're just going to start, make sure that we can at least get the first one to stick. Make sure I've got it, there we go. And then we're just going to knock it out one at a time. You don't have to do every pad. I'm doing it just to show what it can look like. Okay, there's all the pads there. Now we're going to go down the side. And you don't have to put too much on because you now have tinned your wire on your motor, for example. So you just put enough on, and together, when you go and solder them together, it's going to make a good bond. All right, so there's that side. Go down this side here. And be careful not to hold the iron on for too long. Board is still very cool, so I'm not worried about overheating it. Let me get these last pads. And then we'll go ahead and tin the LiPo pads and also the VTX pads here. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so there we go. All right, and now our pad is tinned. As you can see, everything's looking good, right? And so it's ready to go. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. All right. So anyway, so now that we're all tinned up here, we can start putting the motors on if we want. So let's go ahead and knock that out. I still had to ask. Did Colin answer that? Black or purple? Okay, no problem. So let me see what I got here real quick. Black or purple? Black or purple? Let's see what we got. I think I've got both, so, but let me just verify that. Let me see the black ones first to make sure that these are going to be the right size for this. And they are. So I guess we can go black if we need to. Okay. Yeah, that would work. All right, so we're going to find out how long these need to be. So let's do this. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and now figure out the heat shrink. And to do that, we're just gonna throw this back on here. Put one motor on, and again, because they're equally distanced, whatever you do for one motor is gonna be the same for all. We know we're gonna be wrapping around our standoff, which is right here. So let's say that we are gonna go probably whatever this is right here. Let me get my ruler. We're gonna say that our we're going to give it 25 millimeters, okay? So let me put that down. So heat shrink is 25 millimeters. Okay. And now let's just start cutting them at 25 millimeters. One, two. Wait, are we changing? I think the black's gonna look good, but should be able to get almost 3 cuts out of this. It's gonna be close. Maybe we'll go to 20, and that way we can get our cuts about right. So let me do that. All right, let's see what it looks like real quick. Make sure that we're okay. Oh, neon orange. Well, I mean, yeah, we could do that, but we don't have, our customer wants black or purple, and so we will go, I think the black will look good with this one. I mean, we're using, I think, purple standoff, so it's going to be a nice color combination. All right, so don't forget, guys, when you're heat shrinking these things, right, keep your fingers on the 3 wires and start from the inside and come out towards your finger, and then make sure to press, right? What you want to do is you want to press it down so that the wires don't overlap, okay? And I like that. I like the look. It keeps it flat. Plus, we're going to zip tie these down. So you end up with a nice flat tie wrap there, or sorry, heat shrink there. Now we're going to go ahead and mount this motor, make sure everything fits, and we'll finish with the rest of the motors. Oh yeah, that last build, those colors were cool. You're right. I do agree with you on that. I did like those colors. Man, I don't even think I got to fly that build. I think the day after somebody came in and said they wanted to buy it, and I never got to fly it. So, all right, let's see what we got here. Let's see if this, that's gonna look good. That'll be great. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these on and then see how this is gonna hold. Again, we'll have to switch angles here because I have got to use the old man goggles. And again, guys, when you're doing this, it's just like a 1 second touch, okay? Do not worry about sitting on there for too long. 1 second, that's it. Not even a second, actually. Excellent. So there we go. Should be able to wrap that underneath, if you can see that, and go around, hopefully. But we will see how that lays out. All right, one motor done. We'll just knock the rest out real quickly. So let's go ahead and get these done. Here we go, sorry about that. Okay, and again, pull the wire straight. Try not to burn yourself. I burn myself all the time with this, just try not to. But you will see the wires try to pull over one another if you let go of this. And that's something I try to tell people, don't let it happen. So if you do see it happening, just kind of press down on it. All right, and keep them flat. There's another one. Let's get the next one. I just dropped that heat shrink, so 1 second. All right, so here we go with the next one. Yeah, I think that you know, one of the things, and the reasons my builds take so long, I mean, you know, I'm kind of real picky about, and it doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. Please understand that I'm not saying my way is the right way. It's best for me, but you know, everything's got to be kind of measured and look the same. I think I've got that. Everything's got to be balanced, and if it's not, I'll be up all night trying to figure out why. So I do encourage people to do that. All right, 20 millimeters because I cut that down. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. I mean, zip ties should go a certain way. If you put them on a certain way, they should go on the same way every time. Just consistency-wise, you know. But that's doesn't mean it's going to fly any better, I promise you. Mine crashed just as good as everybody else's. Okay, so we got our 3 motors done. So now we're going to go ahead and put the next ones up. Yeah, I think Aaron was the first one to receive, our team pilot was the first one to receive one of these. He had good reports on it. I was really excited about that. We do have the new 6S. I know you've been hearing about it. We've got the new 6S series boards coming in for the 75 and 85 frames. So that's going to be pretty interesting also. All right, let's get to soldering this real quick. I don't know what that was. I dropped something. And again, when you solder, my recommendation, solder from outside in so that you're not crossing over wires. Less chance of touching the other solder. And invest in some better tweezers than what I have. I've complained about them every day for like a month now, but I haven't done anything about it yet. Alright, so again, this should be able to come in around that and be symmetrical to the other one. Yeah, that'll look good. Alright, let's do the other 2 motors. You have one of the first ones that used the 150. As a matter of fact, Daniel, I believe that you're the one who gave me the idea to use the name Banshee. Something like that. So that's right. But you've got one of the OGs. That was back when I used the full-size motors, but people complained that it was too fast. So I backed off. But one day, it'll come back. Matter of fact, I just pulled the frame out. I have one of the frames. I think I just saw it not too long ago. From the one that you have, Daniel. I kept one of the frames. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I liked it. I liked changing the way, you know, you could do a full-size motor and offset the props or whatever. All right, let's get this one soldered in next. Okay. All right, one more motor to go. We're gonna hum along this one really quickly. Yeah, that's true. You're 100% right. That's what I did for. I had 5 printers going non-stop, 24 hours a day. 5 printers set up to print every part, so I didn't have to wait. So I could print 4 arms and a frame at the same time, and I did that. Probably printed a couple thousand of those over a year's time. Just, I mean, different parts, not a couple thousand full quads, but different parts. There's some of them are hung up on my wall. That was good times. That's why when people start doing that, you know, I watched a guy, he was posting in the HGLRC group. I don't remember his name right now, but it really pissed me off that somebody was crap talking stuff, and I'm like, man, you know, the guy's sitting there doing it on 3D printer. That's how I did it, and I loved it. And outside of the heat, if it wasn't for the heat, I would have kept doing it. It was easy, it was fun, and I think that that's really awesome accomplishment when people do it. I definitely encourage it. It's a lot you can do, and I think that one, I have a video on YouTube where I had 24 hours to make a quad that went over 60 miles an hour, 3D print it. I had to design it from scratch, print it, and test it. And I did it with 2 minutes left on the clock, or else I had to give the quad away for free. And I remember that. That was interesting, but that was all 3D printed. So, you know, it was fun, and it makes a good project. All right, so we got our motors done, right? So you can see that here, everything's lined up, and you can see all the wires are going to kind of bend symmetrical, so when I'm done with them, they're going to look really, really good and kind of fold in the way I want them to. So the next thing we're going to do is get started with our XT30. Might as well go ahead and knock that out while we can. So let me grab one of those real quick. I mean, you gotta figure, man, you get a printer for a couple $100, I guess, and the things you can do with it. You know, you don't have to sit there and you could, there's so many things you can do with those printers. I think it's amazing, and I mean, really, you don't have to, I mean, you can make your own XT30 connectors and do all kinds of stuff. All right, so let me see where I'm at. So we are going. Hey, Colin, you sent me a message earlier. You are top mounting this, correct? I think so. Yeah. So we are going to go upwards with this, which is fine. And the way this frame is set, that means it is going to come up along here. So we will give it about, oh, I don't know, about 30, 40 millimeters. Let me grab some wire, and we'll get started with that. Let me see. Let me see if I can get a little bit thicker wire. I think this will work. Let me do this one. It's going to be very close, very close. All right. No problem. Move this out of the way. Yeah, I mean, you know, once you get it down, I don't know what batteries you ordered. Let me go check real quick. Hold on. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Let me just check his order real quick. Those are 60s. That's right. So yeah, that's going to be the 3S LipoPack XT60. So hey, yeah, thanks for that note, man. All right, so we'll be doing XT60s. Perfect. That was the other discussion that Daniel and I had a long time ago. Was I was a big XT60 fan, and Daniel and I could not see eye to eye on this. Still a big fan, Daniel. All right, let's do the XT60s. Well, it's pretty simple. Where am I at with this? Okay. And we will go ahead then and use, let me see what I want to use here. So we can use I think I'll use 16 gauge. That should be just fine then for what I want to do. Let me go ahead and get some 16 gauge going for this. And let me see what I got here. 16 gauge right here. 20, 18, 14, yeah. Good. All right, let's get some 16 gauge here. Yeah, no, I saw what you got, man. I've got the battery sitting right here. Sorry, I just pulled it up. All right, so we'll use 16 gauge and make this thing work like a champ, okay? So for you guys that are doing your XT60s, a quick way to do them, if you haven't seen this already, it's the way I do them. It may not be the right way to where you guys like it, but here goes. So I'm gonna take my rubber band, put it around my clips here. All right, just strong enough to hold it, but not tight enough to where it's gonna squeeze it closed if it gets too hot. And I'm gonna place it in just like that. All right, so that's gonna hold it in place. Okay, so you can see that there. Just like that. And remember, the flat side's gonna be your positive side. Now go ahead and take your wire, dip it in your solder paste, twist it up real good. Take your other wire and do the same thing. All right, there you go. Do not leave your solder in there. Okay. Tin it like we're about to do. This makes a good little holder too, so I'll just kind of hang it out like that. Let me get my old man goggles going. Okay. All right, so once you're done with that, take a little bit of your paste, just kind of touch it around your XT60 right there. Go ahead and just kind of get it going. And then drop the solder in there like this. And you don't need a ton of it, right? Just enough to get your gap there, because what's going to happen is you're going to put your wire in and you're going to raise it. Okay, so I'm going to heat this up. Hopefully you guys can see that. Right, so I'm going to heat this up here real quick. And then I'm going to put the wire on there. I'm going to raise it just like that. And it's going to make this cone shape around there. And it's going to grip super tight. Okay, so now we're going to do the same for the other side. But be very careful with these XT60s, or any of them for that matter, because they will melt the plastic very quickly if you're holding it for too long. So let's go ahead and fill it here. Okay. And then go ahead and heat it up, put it on there, and then just kind of lift the solder up. There we go. And there you go. All right. So now you've got your stuff right here. It's going to be hot, guys, so make sure you're careful when you're grabbing this. There you go. You see it? So now what we're going to do is let it cool just a second. And we're going to go ahead and put our heat shrink on there. And we'll be done with the XT60 portion of this. Let me just find the right size heat shrink that I want to use. This looks about right. And so what I would usually say is you're going to go, as long as you put your solder on right, it doesn't block the section here. You're going to actually put your heat shrink in there. So you're going to probably go down about 3 millimeters or so. And so you're going to come up, let's say, about 10 millimeters of heat shrink. So if you did that, you would end up, probably go about 15. So let's take it to about 15 millimeters for your heat shrink. Okay, so make sure to measure that. There's 15 millimeters. So let's just kind of guesstimate right about there, which is going to be half of this. We'll do the same thing here. But you don't want to put it on too early because it will start tightening down as you're pushing it down that wire. All right. And yeah, it's probably okay now. So just make sure to get down there. You see how it'll fit in there perfect. And then take the other one, do the same thing. And there you go. All right. So now you're going to have a very nice quality XT60. And there you go. All right. So that's going to be good for that one. And lengthwise, I would say that we're probably going to take it, yeah, to about somewhere around this area. So give them to about right here. So let's just say that from the end of the XT60, we're going to go about 40 millimeters out. So let me make that note. Let's do XT60 at roughly 40 millimeters. Awesome. Okay, so you can take it at 40 millimeters, measure it out, and then just cut straight across. Save your wire, and you're good to go. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Colin. I appreciate you. All right, so there's your XT60 now. And, you know, I'll leave the rubber bands on here because I kind of like the way they force this closed. But now you've got to prep this for soldering to the board. And this is where I see most of the mistakes on these micro boards, on these very small boards, is people put way too much solder and they'll get the solder bound to a cap or something else and it'll short out the board. So please let me show you what I recommend. Okay, and so here's our board. And we know that we have two things we need to do on this board. We've got to get our XT60 soldered on, and we've got to put our cap on here, right? Because this comes with a cap, which is somewhere in my little mess right here is the cap that came with this board, which I'll find in a second. So, we'll find it in just a minute, I guess. All right, so look. So you've got to get these two, but you see there's caps right here. I mean, you've got different components all around this area. Be very careful because most people end up touching one of these things, and that's where they end up having problems. So look, make sure you get your tweezers, make sure you've got your stuff tinned. So we're gonna go ahead and tin these wires real quick. And so let's just go ahead and get that done. All right, that's tinned. And then, you know, turn it over and make sure you got the other side good. Sometimes I miss, like right here, I missed all that wiring. So you wanna get all that done. Okay. And I was helping a gentleman, got a hold of me online and sent me a picture of his board, and there was flecks of solder all over the place. When you are soldering with this kind of solder, do not do it over the board because little pieces will start flying off and they'll end up shorting out your system. So be, oh, here's the cap by there. So be very careful with that, please. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and get our piece on here. Just let it kind of go on its own. Don't press it because you'll spread the strands. And there you go. All right. And then we'll do the other side. Just let it kind of go. There you go. And you're done. So we've got a clean connection here. No solder has come off, and we still got easy access to our VTX. pads, and now we can do our camera, our VTX, and our S-Bus, and we're pretty much going to be done with this build. Okay. So. Okay. Now for the camera, let me grab the ELF camera, which is right here. And the wiring. And let's get started with that. All right, so we're going to definitely have our camera sitting here. And so what we want to do is our pads are going to be in this area right here. So we're going to just make a very short connection to this area. Make sure to save this wire, guys. Obviously, you're not going to use it all, but HGLRC does use very good wire in this build, and so I like these. There's silicone on these wires are really strong, and they can handle a lot of heat, so I like it. All right, so the idea here is we're going to connect like this, right? And since the camera is going to be positioned right about here, we really are talking about a short run. It's not very long at all. So we will take an estimate of about 50 millimeters, and it's probably just going to fold up. That's 40, so we'll just stick with 40. So let me do camera VTX at 40. Camera at 40. Camera at 40 millimeters, same as the XT60. Okay. There we go. Now take it off the camera and get ready to prep it. Do the same thing, strip it about 1.5 millimeters to 2 millimeters. Okay, and then get your paste. Dip them, tin them, and you're good to go. Again, make sure to twist the strands, okay? Sometimes I forget to do that, and then I notice when I'm soldering that it's all kind of woppy-jawed. All right, so there we go. Let's tin them real quick. All right, get this out of the way. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put these on. And what we've got right here is we've got our camera, which is our yellow, our 5-volt, which is our red, and our ground, which is our black. So we're just going to go ahead and attach those. And again, we're not going to cross over. So make sure your wires are not too long, because this is a very small area of the board. So kind of cut them down to about 1.5 millimeters to 2 millimeters max. Even that may be a long, but we're going to start with our 5-volt and we're going to work our way in. So let me go ahead and just get the 5-volt ready. And again, you're going to hold it for less than a second on there, okay? Because you've already tinned them. So get that tip cleaned off. There we go. So get your wire ready, and it's as simple as done. Okay, and then you're going to come over here, grab your yellow one, which is for your camera signal, video signal. Get it sat on there, and then just real quick and done. All right, so you don't even have really a second. It's just touch it and done. All right, so there you go. Now your camera's all wired up, so that part's done. We're gonna put our receiver on. The waterproofing doesn't go on until after the entire system is built, because you cannot solder after you waterproof. If you do, you lose the waterproofing on the build. Okay, so you have to do it afterwards. Yeah. So keep that in mind, guys. If you do waterproof or what have you, and then you solder something, you've just taken the waterproofing off of that. So you have to go back and do it again. So this whole thing would be waterproofed afterwards. If you do get a quad from me that's waterproof, when it arrives, it's going to be goopy. Like you're going to have like a WD-40 feel to it. There's nothing I can do about that because I can't wipe it off. It's got to sit in there, and excuse me, as you fly it, it'll clean off, or you can take an air can and spray it. But it's not going to come like dry by any means. It would take me forever to even wait for it to dry, and then I'd have to wipe it down, and I won't do that. Just fly it, and it'll kind of air dry itself. But your motors and everything will be covered, not just, I mean, every component will be covered. All right, getting back to this. So everything is done here. I guess we can go ahead and do the receiver real quick if I can figure out where I put it. And then we will also get the VTX. And the VTX is important too because I see a lot of mistakes with that. So let's actually find that first. Where the hell did I put that? I try to keep everything clean, but when I get into the groove here, I start throwing everything around. All right, here's my VTX, okay? So one of the mistakes I see on these VTXs that people do, right? And I may switch camera angles for this one so you can see it better. So let me zoom in here. It's not going to be the clearest picture for some reason, but I think you'll get the idea. So there you go. All right. So on this VTX, one of the things that people do wrong or make a mistake on is, if you're ever looking at these, they're kind of labeled funny because the pads start here, but the label ends here. And if you were to actually like look to see what lines up, there's a very easy chance that you will get this 7 to 20 volt, or was it 7 to 26 volt input to be this pad. It's not. It's the last pad. They just really crunch the words here, so don't make that mistake, okay? Be very careful when you do that. Is just do it by the count. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So video, ground, 5 volt out. This is your OSD. This is your ground, and then whatever else, however it is. Just make sure you don't think they go straight across, because they don't. It starts off that way, but it changes. And I made that mistake and shorted these suckers out quickly. So be careful with that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put my flux on here. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and pre-tin this board too. Let's do that. There we go. And again, it's a very quick. Just keep your finger on the board. If your finger gets hot, the board's too hot. All right, so then you just give it a rest. All right, so there we go. Board's already set. Everything looks good. And on the label, you can see it's video, ground, 5 volt out. We're not going to be using the 5 volt out. We are going to be using the OSD. And then we're going to be using the ground in. And so we're mainly focused on these areas here, 1, 2, and 3, which is going to be your power, your ground, and your OSD. And then the last one, which will be our video to the board. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and place this on here and see how we want it to sit. You can either face it this way, or we can turn it around and just make sure the antenna comes out the back, and then what we'll do is we'll wrap the wires underneath and bring them to here, and we'll take our video and everything to there. So let's just go ahead and do that. And that's why I say save these wires, because these are really good wires to use for that too, and they'll match up just fine. And then we'll use a different color wire for the OSD. All right. I know, Colin, I got you, but right now I'm going to do this part. Why don't you just calm down. Calm down. I got you, homie. I got you. You know me. I ain't gonna let you down. If I can find my stupid cutters. I know. I don't know if I'll do that on this video, Colin, though, because it is gonna kind of deviate from what the DIY kit has. So I may just do that after the video and leave this part for the DIY setup. But I'll be sure to make sure to add those. I've got them sitting here. But yes, we are adding the HDLRC buzzer and LED combo to this build. But like I said, it's I know he's excited. I'm just kidding. I'm just hazing you, man. I'm just joking. I promise. I'm excited too. I love seeing these builds come together. All right. So let's go ahead and pre-tin this now. All right, so there we go. So we got that side pre-tinned, and we'll go ahead and solder those real quick. Hi, Sam.
Hi.
You talking to Nicole?
Yeah.
Did she see your video?
Yeah, she said that I should replace you.
I think everybody would agree. Why don't you tell her to shut up?
No, she answered the phone very wide-eyed, like, what have you done?
I know, right? No, it's all funny. Tell her I say hi.
I will.
All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these soldered, and then we're going to wrap them underneath. And like I said, so don't forget, video is the farthest one out, so we're going to go here first. There you go. And then let's see, we are going to go, we've got our voltage here. So we're going to go to this end of the board now. And we got a ground. Oh yeah, I just covered that so y'all can't see it, sorry. Just wanted to quit moving for a second. There we go. And the only thing left is to get our smart audio. And let me see, for that I want a different color cable. I think I have something laying around here. 1 second, let me see. I'll take something off of this plug right here. So let's do that. We'll take a, and this looks like the Brain FPV hobby wing piece there. All right, so we'll use white for your smart audio. And again, we're gonna do the same thing, and we're going to bring that in. And guys, don't forget, if you're using HDLRC, the smart audio protocol for this is gonna be the IRC, not the TBS. So if you are sitting there and you've got it connected and you cannot get it to save, you've probably got the wrong protocol selected on your beta flight, and I'll show you guys that later. All right, so we're gonna tin that real quick, and let's get it connected. And I believe that is immediately following the ground. So, yep, it is, and that's right here. There you go. Excellent. So now you're, take care, Aaron. Okay, so now we're going to basically wrap this under, and we are going to be looking on our board. So if you pay attention to the board here, you're going to look for TX6, which is right here. Let me turn this around. Here's your TX6. We're going to attach our smart audio to TX6. That's a very close run. It's not going to be very long at all, so we can just drop it like that. The other three are going to twist up, and we're going to run those to the back, and we're going to attach them right here to the back near the LiPo connection, okay? So for our smart audio, we're going to drop it straight down to the TX6 right here. So we can go ahead and cut that at what looks to be about 20 millimeters or so. Let's snip that. Let's strip it. We'll tin it. And we'll be good to go. Okay, so here we go. Yeah. I don't really think it matters, to be honest with you. It's all the same to me. I mean, I don't know any technical side of it that makes one better than the other. It's just the protocol they picked, and I don't know. I've used them both, and I don't really see any issues either way. It's all the same. But I'm sure there's some technical stuff I'm not. Like I said, I hit it with a stick, man. I don't really care about. Not that I don't care. I just don't know the technical side of it. All I know is it works, and as long as it works, it means it's good. All right, so there's our TX6, so that's in there good. Now let's go ahead and bring this around. Get a measurement for our other wires, and that's going to be right about there. So let's go ahead and cut these. And let's just kind of give it a little bit of leeway here. Something like that, all right? Now, we're done with this wire, but save it. Go ahead and strip these again. Okay. Get ready to tin them. All right. Now we can get these ready to go. And again, we'll do it where we don't cross over. So we will start, we'll go for positive, video, and ground, all right? And this is gonna be a very safe and clean method. So let's just go ahead and do positive. And then we'll do video. And we'll do our ground. There we go. All right. So now we got that done. Everything's looking pretty good. It's coming out together. They're actually shipped right now. I do not have any of them. They're arriving, I think, next week. I just closed my last order with them, which is why I know we're getting the new 6S stacks for the micro builds. All right, so we've got this done, right? And that's how it's going to look. That's how it's going to present itself pretty much. And we're going to make sure that everything clears. And we've got plenty of room in this stack. I mean, this is really a very forgiving build as far as that goes. And this actually be coming up here to like this. So you can build this up as high as you want. I'm just putting this on to make sure that we've got everything that we need. And that does look like it's going to fit very well. And our camera is going to sit nicely right in here with the plug. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. So let me go ahead and get my standoffs put on now for the rest of this. And I may shrink this wire down just a little bit. I don't know yet, because I could use this standoff instead. So let me try something real quick, see where we're at. If I went with a, let me get rid of this. Let me see if I went with a, no, that would be, I'm gonna try 10 millimeter just to see, guys. I thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I really do, guys. I appreciate your compliments on this. I love this build. I think it's one of my favorites. I was really excited when we came up with it and then sent it to Aaron to test out. Okay, so let's see if we've got the 10 mil screw in here. And I'll back off the camera here just a little bit so you guys aren't getting such a zoomed in thing here. 10 mil is going to be just a tad too short. So we're going to go 12 or 14. And then we can use the standoffs that come with the VTX and not be worried about it. So let's go to, let's try 12 and see where we're at. Yeah, that's gonna work out well. All right, so we go ahead and put our plug in here. Yeah. All right, so that's good. So I'm going to make a note on the build that we are going to make sure that it's 12 millimeter screws that are used. Let me just get these ones out. Thanks, Bryce. Well, Daniel, they should be in soon, man. I hope you enjoy them. They look to be like pretty fun motors. I'm waiting for mine to get in, and we shall see how they perform. All right. Okay, 2 more to go, guys, and we're going to wrap. As far as the DIY portion of this, we're going to end up wrapping this up because there are some custom pieces that are going on here, like I said, that are not DIYs in the kit, but we'll be almost done here with the standard DIY part. And then I will make a separate segment for the buzzer and LED as soon as I get this stupid screw out. 1 second. But I do want to show you guys what the final build looks like. And one of the cool features that I put on here, some of y'all may like it, some of y'all may not, but if I get this damn screw out, hold on. It's the longest. Good Lord. Whew. That took forever. Wrap. How am I wrapping? Who's wrapping? I ain't wrapping. Oh, I see what's going on. All right. There we go. Okay, that's just spinning a lot. There we go. Okay, we'll put this one on. Got one more to go, and that sucker is gonna be good. Where is this? Here. By the way, if you work a lot with these boards, this little thing I got on Amazon, it's a general, and it does these parts. It happens to fit perfectly on these components here, or on these smaller parts here for the M2 screws. So it's powered, and it really saves a ton of time. So if you're ever looking for something like that, I got them on Amazon. Try to find it. Yeah, well, you know what? I made one even meaner than that, and David will vouch for it. I got my DJ equipment out, bro. It's sitting right there in that room. I'll send you all that. You remember that one, David? The Chaos? And it became such an argument on Rotor Riot because people said it wouldn't fly, or it's blah, 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 whatever. I mean, the problem is come up with these ideas, and people who don't want to give them a shot, they never see the light of day then because I'm defending them too much. But boy, I tell you what. Where is that sucker? Where is that thing? Here it is. There. That's the beast. That right there is a rocket. But trying to convince people that it can fly is a whole different ballgame. But that took the concept of those offset motors that you're talking about, Daniel, and it just blew it out of the water. I mean, it was unbelievable. So fast. All right. So this should fit nicely, and it does. Man, that's good right there. So that's the setup here. Now let's see what we've got with our camera. Let me go ahead and get that adjusted. I do not soft mount this board, no. Some boards I will, and some boards I won't. This set here I will not soft mount it, and I haven't had an issue with it at all. But on some of those, yeah, I mean, like obviously the ones where we're putting out a ton, yes, I will. But not this series, no. The DJ stuff cannot be brought out in like 1 minute. It's literally the same stuff that you see in the concerts. I went crazy and bought all the equipment that they used in the Skrillex show because my son wanted to DJ and I was so excited for him. And that lasted 5 minutes. So one day I'll show you guys what I learned. Okay, so we're just going to kind of get a feel for how this is coming out so you guys can see this. All right, camera is set. Excellent. All right, let me prop this in here. Make sure that everything looks like it's going to line up. looks good there. And then we'll go ahead and test this part out now and see, make sure that we've got this part lined up too. Turntables, that's old school, man. Boy, I remember doing those back here in Houston. Whoo! Got crazy back then. But those are crazier days. Okay, so again, we're just doing this for to make sure everything's lining up properly, right? So I want to make sure that all the fittings I put on are all lined up right. So give me 1 second. This way we can see this. All right. So now we can go inside, or we can stay on the outside. I may stay on the outside of this actually. I don't know yet. Oh, the inside would be pretty cool too, though. It'll look kind of clean. So let me see what room I got. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna have to just kind of fidget with this a minute. I got all that flux paste on my hand, so all these wires are slipping and sliding out of my grip. Let me see if I can get this to go around. I think I can, and if I can, that'll be nice. All right, so those two are around, and this one looks like it's going to be around. So the only one left is this rear one, and then you guys can see the somewhat sketch of the end result. I think that does it right there. Get this to pop in place. There we go. In the front. There we go. Just got to keep the motor wires out of the way. And it's a close fit. All right. Sorry. I'm hurrying. I just want to verify this real quick. Okay. So by the looks of it, this is, I think, fitting great. I don't know if I like the wires going in or out though, but I think for the sake of just getting this stupid piece on here so I can make sure the rest of it fits, I'm just going to lay them out and you guys can get an idea of where we're at. Okay, so what happens next is this sits here and we fasten these down and we will go ahead and take the screws that I just removed, 7 mil. We'll run them up in here just to make sure we've got a solid piece with nothing missing. So there's one side. I don't have to do the whole thing, but let's pop that in there. Just like that. There we go. All right, so that's what we're looking at, right? This is what the build's gonna end up looking like, and I really like that appearance. So if you get an idea here now, I think all the measurements came out really well for this. Obviously everything will be straightened out here in just a little bit, but I wanted to just make sure everything's fitting good. And you can see you've got a nice gap in between here. So I should have put the light on maybe a little bit more, but there's a nice gap here, so you can add some different components if you want. All right, so that looks like it's going to fit very well. It's very light. And one of the cool things that I did want to show you is I added this little thing on here, and I used it. Now, Aaron, I don't know if he liked it or not, but it was pretty neat. If I can find a battery real quick. Yeah, so this isn't the battery going to be flying with it, but this is the same, similar. So what I did was I decided that to make it quick, I put these little rubber band gaps right here, right? And so I did something like crossing over the rubber band, which you're going to find on a lot of my builds. Now, a lot of the smaller builds are incorporating rubber bands. But it was something I did. Anyways, you basically somehow, and I cannot remember right now off the top of my head, but it was, you just wrap the rubber band around it, and maybe I used 2 of them. But it would basically stay in place with the rubber band, and then you didn't have to use a, what do you call it, a battery thing. I just can't remember. Maybe I did it like that. Yeah, I think that's how I did it. So you'd come around, and then you could come around the other side or something. Maybe it was like this. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I did this battery. But anyways, I'll have to go look at the pattern. But anyways, the idea is that the rubber band will cross over somehow. But anyways, I put these tabs in here, and it worked out real well. I could remember how the pattern was that I had it. I wrote notes on it, but you can do that, or you can use your lipo strap. So that's enough wasting time, I guess. What? So, oh yeah, you want to play a gameplay? Who can spam more likes? Or I lost. All right, so let's take this off and let me finish my job now. And we will be done, except for the additional pieces. Okay, so if you are doing this for the DIY, you're pretty much done at this point. You've got two options here. There is a plate that I have, and I think I found it when I was doing the Banshee. I've got to see if I can find it again. It's a very small plate. Let me see, give me a second. Oh, no, can't find it now. But there's a plate you can use that I made out of G10 that can go over that right there. If I find it, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. All right, anyways, so that's pretty much it. The VTX is now hooked up, the camera's hooked up, everything else is done. Now we're gonna add the, we can add our capacitor. And so to do this, it's gonna be fairly simple. So let me go ahead and just get that done. And to add this cap, I'm going to do the same thing I do with the wires. I'm going to go ahead and dip it, get it ready, pre-tin it. Okay. Let me get all my tools out of here real quick. It's starting to be a mess. Okay, our cap is on. I'll trim off that piece that's on there, make sure that it's looking clean. There we go. Trim this piece off. There we go. All right, so that's gonna sit nicely too. Everything looks good there. We can pass the cap underneath since we know it's not gonna get going up, and then we will put some glue right here to protect it. Outside of that, the only thing left to really do on this would be to put the receiver. So let's find it. And then I think what I'll do is bring this build to an end at that point. And then Colin, I will reach out to you to show you the rest of what I'm doing, but we would have already been into this an hour and a half, and I know at this point everybody's getting loopy, so even if I do and come back and do a second part to this, I have no problem doing that. I just want to keep everybody from turning into zombies. All right, so here's our receiver, and we're going to go ahead and get this cleaned up and get our stuff going. And we have our, okay, so I need to find some wire, and again, this wire that I told you to save is going to come in very handy for this. So let's do it. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing, strip it, tin it, and then solder it. See, on one video wire, on one set of wires for the camera, you can do your VTX, your camera, and your receiver, and you're all using the same quality wire for all three, so it's a way to be efficient. All right, let's go ahead and tin them. place, so just do it like this. One, two, and the last one. Okay. Tell me what you gonna do. All right, let's get our wires put on. So let me see where I'm at on this. Okay, here we go. So on our board, right, our S-bus, everything's going to be right here. So we're going to go with our S-bus, our 5-volt, and our ground, all in that order. So, and this, I'm going to try to leave this so it can be accessed easily. And so I'm going to probably place it somewhere in this vicinity right here. But to protect the VTX, I may go on the underside of the frame right here and place it most likely like this. That way you can still access the button when you want to do your binding. All right, so let's just go with that. Let me grab some double-sided tape. Oh yeah, you heard me? That's right. God darn it, I was singing Bone Thugs. I missed my Bone Thugs in Harmony. Dun, 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 dun. Let me see where I want to put this because I go the strap over. Some people may go under. I don't want this to interfere. You know what? For right now, I'm just going to put it here. And then I'll change it later if I feel like I need to. But I want to get it mounted at least. I'd be listening to Bone Thugs right now if Facebook wouldn't and YouTube wouldn't stop my feed and say that I'm using copyrighted stuff. But oh well. All right, so we've got our receiver that's going to go, and we're going to put it in upside down like this. Now, because I'm going to be moving this most likely to accommodate a couple things, I'm not going to set it permanently here, but normally I would put hot glue right underneath this, press it on there, and it would stay permanently. But in either case, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure that I've got all my stuff soldered and prepped right, because outside of the LED, this is literally the last thing I'm adding to this LED and buzzer. This is the last thing I'm adding to the setup. And so from there, we're going to just fire it up so we can see if it catches on fire or if it survived the build. And then I'll finish this properly. All right, let's go ahead and tin these wires real quick and bring this to an end. And there we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's it. It's dirty. Okay. And again, we're going to go in that order. So we've got S-bus, 5-volt. Let's go ahead and knock that out. S-bus. These wires are too long. Here's our 5 volt. Let me read you that S bus real quick. There we go. And then here's our ground. And that wraps up the last of the actual wiring for the DIY kit. And so now we're going to go ahead and assemble this properly and see where we're at. And we have our antenna, which I put somewhere. There it is. I'll go ahead and put this on here. Just like that. Okay, and we will fasten down the VTX. And we will see how well this thing ended up. All right, now I don't plan on using any more of this old man goggles, so let's see if we can give you guys a good view like that. All right, hopefully that's a better view. I don't know. If not, let me know and I'll switch it back. All right, I gotta put 2 more of these on there. Stop with the fire. I don't need any more bad luck. Let's make this one fire free, please. No fires today. All right. I need the light at least. Good God, it's too dark in here. All right. Okay, so now it's time to get everything together. So we're going to make sure everything tucks in properly. We know it fits well. Good. So now let me get the sides here. And let me open up this side so that I can fit this stuff on here. There we go. And then you can bring it together down here. And you're going to bring your XT60 above. And we'll bring our cap in as well. There we go. Leave our antenna to go out the hole on the top of the battery. And now we'll start fastening everything down. Okay, so give me 1 second, and you will have a quad to look at here in just a sec. Tell me what you got. All right. Go ahead and get our camera plugged in. There we go. Bring the top around. And we'll close this up and plug it in, and let's hear some tones and know that we're safe. gotta get my fat fingers in here, so bear with me a second. Just trying to get this antenna put on. There we go. There we go. What happened? I didn't see what happened. Who's picking on you, Colin? They're making fun of you? Why are they hazing you? What happened? What'd you do, Colin? What'd you do? Okay, now, let me see where I'm at with this. I want to make this look really good, and I want to get this thing looking sweet. Just get out of there. Sorry, I put the receiver wire in here and I need to just kind of get it out from underneath there. There we go. All right, 2 more zip ties and we'll have a good idea. Tree fitty. Okay, so there's that. Now there's only one thing left to really do. First I gotta tighten this down. I mean, outside of doing the LED and stuff, is going to be to give this a good setup. Yeah, that came out nice. I like that. All right, so obviously I'm gonna have to open it back up to finish the rest of it, but for those of you doing your DIY build, this is basically what you should end up with, something kind of looking like this. I'm not sure, let me switch cameras here and make this easier. Okay, so at the end of the day, this is what we've got. This is the Banshee the U130v1. All right, let me see. I still have a little bit of work to do on this for Colin, but for the rest of you, if you're doing this on a DIY, you should end up with something very similar to this, and you should be pretty good and ready to go. You do want to check your capacitor. I've seen mine is kind of pushed up here, so I'm just going to kind of get it to tilt back a little bit, but it's sitting well. And remember, this is G10, so it's non-conductive, so it doesn't matter if it does touch. But there you go. For the most part, guys, there you go. And then I think what we'll do now is just try to fire it up and see if we have a fire or not. So let's see. God help us. I don't need a fire today. So let me see what we got. First, we'll do our continuity test. Make sure. Just kidding. Make sure that we don't have any issues with that. Doesn't mean that that capacitor can't explode in my face. So we'll go ahead and turn it this way. And we will go ahead and take our plugs and see what happens. And look, if it goes up in flames, Colin, thanks for the money. Good luck with the next build. Just kidding. Okay. All right, hold on. Let's get this sanity on the road. What the hell? There we go. Much easier. Okay. This view, is this view better? Before I start this up, is that view better? I don't want to, yeah, I want to, is that good? Okay, shut up with the fire. All right. Whatever. Shut up with your stupid toilet cam. Score. Right. Perfect. So now that I happen to have my beta flight thing here, let's go ahead and just plug it in real quick, and let's see. Let's give the motors a little whirl if we can. Oh, actually, you know what? Well, no, I do. I have the keyboard right here. Hold on. You and your fires, shut up. Wait, I don't need my password on camera. Excuse me. All right. Okay, here we go. So let's get into beta flight. Here we go. Come on, beta flight. What is this doing? That's a stupid thing. All right. So I tell you what I'll do is I'll go ahead and now add the screen for it so you can watch the beta flight part of this, because I know some people were asking about it. But I'm also not going to keep it like this for too long because it will warm up. So let me add this screen real quick. And we will go this route. 1, 2, there. Now, you can either have the quad smaller or bigger. You guys decide. Tell me if you like the view like that. And let's go ahead and connect. Okay, so here's our quad. And let's go to our motors. Gotta love it. All right, so you want to test the directions. Okay, so we've got to go with motor 1. No, that's clockwise. Motor 2. That's clockwise. Motor 3. That's clockwise. Motor 4. Well, it's safe to say this thing is not going to take off the... Well, wait a minute. Hold on. No, I'm sorry. Yep, it's clockwise. All right. So for those of you that end up with something like that, you're going to disconnect, go straight over to BL Heli. We know our mapping is right. So we're just going to go over to BL Heli and quad a little bigger. Okay, hang tight. Let's do this then. Let's try this way. 1, 2. Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't think I've ever used this before. Ta-da! I don't know what the hell that is, but if that works, it works. Oh, check that out. You can zoom and stuff with this? No way. The things I learned. Look at this. All right, well, there you go. Let's try that. Okay, so you're going to go in here. I think we're, I don't know what COM port we're on. Hold on. COM 3. Hey, this is going to be a powerful little sucker right here. I am switching modes, my bad. So let's go ahead and get it to do that real quick. And where am I at? Whoa. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to flash these two. So let's just go ahead and flash them real quick. And we'll click OK. Click yes. Yeah, this sucker's powerful, man. Those motors are humming. I'm telling you, it's a fast quad. You better keep your eye on it. These don't go slow. Everybody keeps taking biggest complaint. My quads, they do not go slow. Which I apologize. I wish they did, but I don't know how to do that. It's like asking me. It's like saying you got too much money in your wallet. I don't understand. Fly better, not slower. All right, there we go. I'm just kidding, by the way. And then we will make sure this is done. So all of you that want to see how this is done, there's a guy that said he needed to see this. There you go. I hope you're seeing it. And it's not bad. I mean, the build's done in under 2 hours. It could have been done faster, but I apologize. But still, used to be 4 hours, so we definitely picked up the pace. I think it'll peak at 20 or 25. I don't remember exactly. It ranges. It will vary depending on the battery you use. I believe that it's there's a difference depending on the battery that's used. By the way, those are HCLRC. What are they? 1106 6000 kVs. They're pretty stout. All right, so we're going to go ahead and flip 2 and write that. And we're going to go ahead. Yeah, I know. Tell him, Colin. That's the guy I was talking about. I know he wanted to see Betaflight. So I was like, well, I hope he's watching. Peak 25. Yeah, there you go. All right. So now, so we're done with this, right? So we're going to disconnect. I'm going to flip the, I'm going to make sure it's in one shot, flip the power off, connect back over here, do my calibration real quick, reset, calibrate, head over to my motors. Oh, wait, make sure my configuration is for still full. No, I don't want D-shot right now. I want one shot and everything else looks good. Save and reboot. And then let's go to my motors. Make sure this saved. It did. Okay, motors. Now go to motors. There we go. Let's go ahead. And so this is me calibrating in one shot, obviously, because I want to check and make sure the ESC is getting me pretty equal signals across the board here. So, but now, oh yeah, that's a beast. All right, so let's turn that off, disconnect, head over to BL Heli, connect again, and let's make sure that our values are pretty close. So let's read this, and we're going to see. Okay, not in sync, so we're going to find out why. So motor 1, 1012 and 2000, motor 2, 1012, 1992, motor 3, 1012, 1992. All right, so the big thing is we're going to go down to 1992. So let's go ahead and write that. Okay. And then let's go ahead and go here and go 1992. Write that, click OK, and then disconnect. Connect. Continue, and it looks like now we are in good sync here. Let me see. Man, that's great. Oh, these are solid. Yeah, the one shot's just for calibrating ESCs. I like to physically see if the ESCs have a huge difference. When I calibrate them, and if they do, then there could be a problem with the ESC. A lot of that's missed when you do D-shot now, but I will take it back to D-shot before it's done. Okay, so I guess, guys, with this, for right now, I'm going to be finished with this, mainly because I am now, how do I get out of this stupid thing? There, boom. All right, cool. All right, so just to recap, let me lift this up. I want to say thank you to you guys for watching. I do love this frame. I do love this quad. It's a very fast quad. It will fly the AVAN 2.3 inch, which are super fast props. So yeah, so look, it's a preference thing on the D-shot, one-shot thing. Okay, so when I started doing this, D-shot was just a dream at the time, right? And so one-shot was what we used, and even before then, there were different protocols. But the main thing was that you would go through your calibrating, right? And then you would go back into BL Heli and you would check your values. And if, let's say, one was 2000, one was, or, 2004, let's say, and one was like 1976 or whatever, there's something wrong in the ESCs, and the ESCs are most likely bad. We don't have that with D-shot. When you go to D-shot, it kind of does its own thing. So I like to do that to still make sure that there are no problems with the ESC. It's an old school way of doing it. But it's the way I like to do it to make sure I don't put a product out there that may be faulty that is not going to be caught, if that makes any sense. The build for this is either $50 or $100. It depends on the complexity, if you have me adding extra parts and stuff. But the price for me to build a quad and do the things is usually going to be about $100. But if it's something where I'm going to put a video online, I usually give a deal to the customer then, because you have to wait for me to get an opening online to do it. And so in this case, I gave Colin a deal, and I don't mind building them at a discount if it means I can put some more quads in people's hands. But okay, so guys, there it is right there. Colin, I will finish adding the rest of your stuff, and I will finish this, do some beta flight videos on this. But yeah, you're right, the D-shot did sketchy. Okay, so tomorrow we'll do some real flying. I'm going to take this new beast. I'm going to go ahead and take this sucker out and kill it. And you'll see this one going, and I will take this Chaos back out because it just brought up some good memories. I want to see this thing fly again. It's a little too fast for me at times, but all right. Other than that, we'll do some more videos tomorrow, guys. Look, I appreciate y'all. And if you need anything, CycloneFPV.com. We've got, I don't know, thousands of parts in stock right now. And if I can give you a deal on anything or put some quads in your hands, you let me know. God bless, guys. Have a great night. And we will see you soon. Tomorrow, probably, for the next live build. Peace out, guys. Bye.